All right, good afternoon, Wing. This is Colonel Perron and Chief Reiter with our Peggy Podcast number 4.
Peggy Podcast Episode 4. We're happy to be here.
Happy to be here. Boy, summer is already upon us. What a great week this is. It's beautiful out, and I hope everyone's enjoying the weather. But I know Chief and I wanted to quickly go over what was accomplished during the April 4-day UTA, our big block training event. And we received a lot of feedback, Chief, on what went well and where we can make improvements going forward.
Yeah, continuous progressing. We're trying to look to improve this process over and over. I think we made great strides from November. We cleaned up a few things, and we'll continue to do that for the next round of the block training.
Yeah, I know, Chief, we get asked a lot of, hey, why are we doing this? Why are we doing block training? And really that why behind block training is to give time back to our airmen. We hear it all the time. There's never enough time for AFSC training. So this is one approach that we're taking along with others to give back that time for that valuable AFSC training. And by binning up some of our ancillary training events and making it predictable to our airmen, we really feel like we'll be able to give that time back.
Not only do we get the time back, we get to focus really on readiness and really be able to take some bite-sized chunks out of some of those training that it's hard to accomplish the onesie-twosies. So being able to get out there and attack the IMR, attack CBRN, attack some of those other things is a great way to get done, get it accomplished.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I'm really proud of the efforts that our airmen made over that April UTA. I just want to hit a couple of the highlights of, where we started and where we're wrapping up with these two big block training events. So one of the areas that we really needed to focus on is our individual medical readiness. And historically we've been in the upper 70s, low 80s as a wing. And I'm proud to say, Chief, the highest IMR stat we've ever had here, we're at 90.4% right now.
Yeah, it's amazing. So that just lets you know that the work that went in of all of our members to make the block training a success is paying off. And sometimes we don't get to see that, but having the highest IMR we've ever had, it just shows you that block training is valuable.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another area that our airmen commented and provided feedback on was the ability to go up to Center Stratford and use the combat arms range up there to accomplish whether it was their M4 training or I know we had some M18 training going on as well down here at the wing, but a lot of positives there. I know our defenders put on a tremendous 4-day course. I know the weather wasn't the greatest, but boy, our people had fun and learned a lot while being able to handle those weapons safely and also effectively. I'll tell you, we had 128 opportunities up at Center Stratford, so that's a huge lift that our defenders did with regards to that important training. So we did get some feedback. One of the areas that we look to improve is that we need to communicate better to our members who need to bring their masks to qualify. So we took that note down and we'll improve for when we do block training in November.
Absolutely. We're always looking to find ways to communicate better, and that's one of the things we can tighten up, but we can only push about 6 people through our CADM training here on Pease. So to be able to push 32 at a time, we can take 6 times the amount of people up to Center Stratford and take them through the training safely and effectively.
Yeah, you mentioned our CBRN training that was accomplished as well. We have right now 94% of the entire wing that is current and qualified in CBRN. So that's a shout out to our EM folks, our emergency management team, in the training that they gave. And I'll tell you, the feedback there is just what an unbelievable class they put on, and our airmen feel ready.
Yeah, April was a wonderful drill. It was packed full. On top of the block training, we also had some wonderful events on base. On Saturday, we had the Sapper 5K led by our Sapper team, and Sue Baldwin really took the helm on that with help from Master Sergeant Rojak. And it was a great course, 3.1 miles around the entire base to support a wonderful cause. So we had some good participation there. And then Sunday, we were able to have dual events. One was the family event, the Egg Extravaganza, led by our Airmen and Family Readiness team, where we had about 20 families take part in that on some egg hunts and some other family events, which was great. The weather held out for us. And then at the same time, for our single airmen that don't necessarily have families right now, we held the Enlisted Council, led by Tech Sergeant Jessica Lee, held a basketball tournament where we had, I believe we had, I want to say 11 teams of 3 go out there. And unfortunately, my team went out very quickly, but the LRS team, they took the championship. So I'm practicing and ready for next year. But it was a wonderful event to not only get after readiness, but also get after some of those family support events, and really a way that the wing can come together and have a little fun as well.
Yeah, I'm sorry to hear the average Joes were just average, but I heard our PLL team gave the LRS team a run for their money. So great event, and appreciate the efforts there to give back not only to our airmen, but to their families as well.
Absolutely. We have a few more shout outs we'd like to give out. We've had 3 of our members graduate from BMT over the last quarter that were recognized as honor graduates. So I want to give a shout out to A1C Piper from the Com Flight, Airman Taylor from the medical group, and A1C Bollinger from CPTF. Great job. Way to start your career strong and keep up the good work. I also want to give a shout out to 3 of our folks that scored 90% or higher on their CDCs. That's Senior Airman Hafner from CE, Staff Sergeant Berger from the medical group, and Senior Airman Nash from medical. So great job on that as well. That training is important and a way to go above and beyond and accomplish that well. Sir, we also just got back from Washington, D.C. area. We took 36 senior NCOs down there between the Army and Air, about 18 of our Air folks down for 3 days down to the D.C. area, and really tried to expand upon our senior NCOs and give them some opportunities to see how the Pentagon runs, how the U.S. Capitol runs, and how the different readiness centers run. So it was an awesome event, 3 days, packed completely full, and I want to give a shout out to Master Sergeant DeAngelis, Master Sergeant McWalter, and Master Sergeant Dowling for planning it, and then for our awesome drivers, Master Sergeant Simon and Staff Sergeant Claver, for the wonderful support they gave us. It was an excellent event. I look forward to next year. Yeah,
since you're in the shout out phase, Chief, I wanted to say a couple promotions happened on our officers' side this past few weeks. So we have 2 new lieutenant colonels out there. So Lieutenant Colonel Shannon Van Splendor as our OSS commander, also Lieutenant Colonel Moira Cuthbert as our FSS commander. So congratulations to them both. And then as far as recent PME grads, we had Lieutenant Colonel Michael Callahan, who just recently completed his Air War College. So if there's any other of our majors, lieutenant colonels out there that are eligible for Air War College, he'd be a great one to talk to about his experience getting that accomplishment completed.
Yes, sir. Now April's done. Now we're looking forward to the May UTA and our big fly away for the LRE. So it's going to be a wonderful event, and it really starts the beginning of the week with the prepare to deploy.
Yeah, it's I talked about the different phases of this deployment, and it really start on that Monday. So we'll get our prepare to deploy. That'll kind of kick off the events, but then the big event will be on Thursday, where it'll be an early morning, and I would just ask everyone to keep safety in mind with that early morning show as we prepare to push close to 300 of our airmen out for their expeditionary tasking to the deployed location.
Yeah, a lot of planning has gone in place by Colonel Carloni, the AEW commander, and by Chief Master Sgt. G-Rod, who is our AEW superintendent, SEL. So it's going to be a great event. We have chalks going out all day Thursday. It is going to start early, very early. So please be safe, please be slow, and let's make sure we get everyone off the ground nice and slow. And some of the events back home, while our members are off stations, we are going to host our third resiliency tactical pause. This one is the first one with our DSGs. So it's a 4-hour footprint on the Saturday of the UTA. It's going to start off at 11 o'clock where the Chiefs group's going to cook a burger burn for everyone here. And then we're going to break out to a 2-hour session back in the groups where we're going to focus on resiliency. And the good thing is the training we're getting is not only going to help build resiliency, but you're also going to get some credit for some ready airman training as well. So it's a double dip. And then we're going to break out from another 2-hour section to our connections piece where you can go out and check out some cars or look at cooking or music or art, something you can get out and talk to our folks. And we don't want to leave our deployed members off. So on the Friday while they are in the Azores, we're going to host an RTP for them, same 2-hour block, so they get that same training, and then they're going to stop and have a resiliency event planned led by Colonel Carloni. So great event.
That'll be great. The other big event over the May UTA for our folks that will be back here at home station is we're going to have active shooter training going on. So for the 4 days, Thursday through Sunday, we'll have 2 classes per day with regards to active shooter training. So it's a class that we haven't been able to hold in the past couple of years. So I feel it's important for this wing to get back into understanding exactly what they would have to do if they ever were faced with this circumstance.
Absolutely. Our security forces team is really preparing some great training for each of the groups. And the biggest key to focus on is escape, barricade, and fight. And that's what we want to get out to the wing to make sure that you're prepared if a terrible situation like that happens. We want to make sure everyone is armed and armed with the knowledge and the training to make sure that at the end of the day, we make sure lives are safe and protected. So
great. Thanks, Chief. A couple miscellaneous things that I wanted to go over real briefly today, just to keep everyone informed on what's going on in the wing, is we recently, last week, had a team from Boeing out here doing what they call the Boeing Roadshow. So we had some experts from Boeing come and talk about where the KC-46 is going, what they're doing to improve upon the platform. And so it was a good opportunity for our maintenance, our LRS folks, as well as our operators to really give some feedback and get some valuable exchange with those experts from Boeing. So it was a good visit. It was a one-day event, but a lot learned on both sides. Also, there's an opportunity, and I want to get this out to the wing. We have the opportunity right now to bring on some temporary technicians. So all of your group commanders and your squadron commanders know what that process looks like. So if there's any of our airmen that are potentially students out there that are looking for summertime employment, love to have the extra hands and some help. Also a way to improve upon your skill sets. So if that's something that you're interested in, please get with your supervisors and they can funnel your name and information, and we'll get you employed over the summertime.
Yes, sir. One of the things I want to discuss is there's been a lot of talk about the new annual height to weight ratio. So that's kicking off this month, and I know there's a lot of questions out there, so I want to answer a few. So the annual height to weight ratio tracking will start taking place this month. Only it'll take place for your birth month. So not everyone will go in April, but if you're born in April, we'll start. So the body composition serves as an indicator of a member's overall health and physical readiness. So that is the intent behind it. So members will have their measurements taken, like I said, during their birth month by unit POCs. The ratio is calculated by dividing your waist circumference by your height, and that calculation cannot exceed 0.55. So for example, I'm 5'9", so you take 69 inches, my waist is 32 inches, and you divide that and it gets you 0.48. So I'm below the 0.55 threshold. So that is how you get the ratio. Once again, it's dividing your waist circumference by your height, cannot exceed 0.55. So this first year will be used to acclimate our members to the new program, but beginning in April of 2024, if you fail the ratio, there will be some corrective actions that will lay into place. So the goal here is to get used to the new program, see where you're at physically, and then it gives you about a year. If you need to do some adjustments, you have some time to do that. If you have any questions about that, FSS is the POC, but each unit will have a POC in their unit. So.
Yeah. And I know I was confused at first when this rolled out, Chief, but my understanding is this is not tied to your annual PT test. It's a separate time frame.
That is correct. So your PT test and the annual height to weight ratio are not connected in any way. Your PT test will stay the same. This is just another indicator. And what they're trying to avoid is some folks in the past have taken some extreme measures to pass the waist measurement and then failed other parts of their test by maybe not drinking enough water or so on and so forth. So it's disconnected. It's not part of your PHA. It's not part of your PT test. It's a separate height to waist ratio test.
All right. Well, I appreciate the update there. And obviously, we'll learn more as we go, but for the wing, please bear with us as we navigate this new program, and if there's any questions, please ask. I know, Chief, next week you and I are heading down to MacDill Air Force Base down in Florida for Phoenix Rally. So we'll be down there, and really Phoenix Rally this year is all the mobility Air Force commanders and command chiefs are getting together and really talking about the problem sets with the fight tonight, or the Indo-PACOM challenge. So I'm sure we'll have lots of lessons learned and feedback we can bring back to the wing when we get back.
Yep, it's a great opportunity to go down and represent the wing, represent our airmen, and hear AMC's priorities, and then follow the next week. We're down for the Air National Guard Leadership Conference, so we'll be able to do that as well, sir.
Excellent. Well, looking forward to that. Just as we wrap up our Peggy Podcast number 4, I just want to say to the wing again, as we approach the Memorial Day weekend, I ask everyone to keep an eye on one another as you're doing fun things with your friends and families. Always do things safely. We need each and every one of you, and you're a valuable member of this organization.
Thank you for all you do. We understand how busy we are. We understand how much we ask of you, but we're in it as a team, and you're empowered to make changes at your level. It doesn't take a colonel or chief to give you a thumbs up. Make changes and get after it.